Okay, so you've probably heard of Edith Wharton's Ethan Frome. It's got a reputation, right? It's known for being one of the most depressing, bleakest novels in all of American literature. Seriously. But here's the thing. Why does this incredibly sad story, more than 100 years later, still hit so hard? What makes it so powerful? Well, in this explainer, we're going to put on our detective hats. Together, we're going to uncover the hidden gears and secret codes that make this novel tick.
So what's really hiding beneath all that winter snow? You see, the story is set in this harsh, frozen world, but let me tell you, it's not just snow that's buried there. Underneath that icy surface, there's a whole world of secret passions, simmering resentments, and a tragedy that was set in motion by forces these characters had absolutely no control over. Our investigation, it starts right now.
All right, first up, a bleak New England tragedy. To really get what's going on here, we have to understand the world of this novel. And trust me, the setting isn't just some passive backdrop. It's basically a main character, and it is a brutal one.
Welcome to Starkfield. I mean, the name itself pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Stark Field. This is a place of absolute, crushing silence and isolation. The brutal winters aren't just weather, they're a perfect mirror for the cold, trapped lives of the people who live there, especially our main guy, Ethan Frome.
Okay, so to crack this case, every good detective needs a toolkit. Let's open ours up. Tool number 1 is a special kind of lens, a literary theory called naturalism. And this isn't just some fancy term. It is the fundamental philosophy, the operating system that runs this entire story.
So what is naturalism? Put simply, it's a worldview where characters are seen as totally helpless products of their surroundings, their genetics, and their situation. Here's the key takeaway, the thing you have to get. They have zero control over their own fate. Characters like Ethan don't really have free will. They're like puppets or cogs in a giant uncaring machine, just pushed around by their environment, their poverty, and their own basic instincts. Their fate? Yeah, that's sealed from page 1. So this is basically the rulebook for Ethan Frome's world. It's super pessimistic. The whole idea of free will is just an illusion. Your fate is already decided by stuff way outside your control. The characters, they're not heroes. They're often selfish or cruel, just regular, flawed people trapped by these massive forces. It's a bleak survival of the fittest kind of world, and reading it, man, it gives you this intense feeling of claustrophobia, like the walls are closing in on you with every page you turn.
And you know, this whole idea wasn't just some random literary fad that writers cooked up. Naturalism really took hold during really tough times. Think of the harsh economic realities of the late 1890s, and then it peaked during the Great Depression in the 1930s. It was art reflecting a brutal reality people were actually living through. And Edith Wharton, she absolutely nails that feeling.
Okay, back to our toolkit. Let's grab our second tool, speaking in symbols. Now, if naturalism is the cold, hard logic of the novel, the physics of this universe, then symbolism is its secret, passionate language. It's the code they use to say everything they're forbidden from saying out loud.
We're talking about subtext. You know, the unspoken stuff, the hidden meanings. It's the story underneath the story. And Wharton was an absolute master at this. See, in a world where you had to repress all your real feelings, your desires, your frustrations, she used everyday objects, colors, even animals to tell us what was really going on. It's where you find the real story, the one that's simmering just below the surface.
I love this quote from the narrator. It is just dripping with sarcasm. He's talking about the efficacy of the pickle dish as a sentimental agent. A pickle dish! It sounds so ridiculous, so trivial. But here's the thing you learn fast in Starkfield. Nothing is ever just a pickle dish. Nothing is ever simple.
Which leads to the big question. Why on earth does a broken piece of china cause a full-blown marital crisis? I mean, seriously, it sounds absurd. The cat breaks a dish and a marriage completely implodes. But that's only because that dish, well, it's so much more than just a dish. It's like a pressure cooker holding years and years of unspoken anger, resentment, and desire.
And here is where we see the true power of that secret language. Think about it. The pickle dish represents their marriage, kept way up high on a shelf, pretty to look at, but never, ever used. It's a symbol of forbidden pleasure. So when Maddie, the vibrant woman Ethan secretly loves, dares to use it, it's a huge violation. And when that dish shatters, bam, the whole fragile illusion of their life together shatters right along with it.
All right, investigation time. We've got our tools, naturalism and symbolism. Let's open up the case file on the central conflict, The toxic love triangle between Ethan, his cold, sickly wife Xena, and her lively cousin Maddie.
I mean, just look at this contrast. Wharton basically draws them as polar opposites. In one corner you have Xena. She's sickness, silence, sharp angles. She is the living, breathing embodiment of Ethan's oppressive reality and his duty. And in the other corner, you have Maddie. She's health, laughter, color, and light. She represents everything he desires but can't have: freedom, passion, a future.
Oh, and you can't forget the cat. Seriously, the cat is basically Xena's furry little spy. It's always there, watching Ethan and Maddie, sitting in Xena's chair, literally jumping between them. And of course, who breaks the pickle dish? The cat. It's like a furry little agent of Xena's all-consuming destructive jealousy.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. We've got a trapped man, a hopeless world, and one tiny spark of passion. So how does Wharton actually build the story to make that final downfall feel so completely inevitable?
You know how most stories work, right? There's this classic structure, Freytag's pyramid. You have rising action that builds tension, it hits a big climax, and then you have the falling action. It's satisfying, it gives you a sense of release. Yeah, Wharton takes that rule book and just chucks it out the window.
Instead, she uses something called the plot of decline, which is classic naturalism. Forget rising action. There is no rising action in Ethan Frome. From the moment the story really begins, Ethan is on a one-way slide straight to the bottom. Every single choice, every little event just gives him another push down toward his fate. There's no climbing back up, and as you're reading, you feel that awful gravitational pull on every single page.
And if that wasn't enough to make you feel trapped, Wharton doubles down with the story's structure. It's what's called an envelope or a frame tale, a story within a story. It's told by this outsider looking back years after the main tragedy. So from the very first page, we know something awful has already happened to Ethan. We, the readers, are trapped right there with him, forced to watch the disaster unfold in slow motion, knowing there's no way out.
Okay, so this brings us all the way back to our central mystery. We've looked at the evidence, we've used our detective tools, now it's time for the big reveal. Why does this novel still have such a chilling, enduring power?
It really boils down to this one powerful collision. It's like ice and fire. On the outside, you have the cold, hard, deterministic shell of naturalism, this universe where your fate is sealed and you can't do a thing about it. But trapped inside that shell is this fiery, passionate core of symbolism, where a simple red scarf or a broken piece of glass is screaming with unspoken love and hate. The novel's power comes from the incredible tension, the friction between those two opposing forces. That's what makes the tragedy so absolutely unforgettable.
And here's the final thought for you. The detective skills we just used, they're not just for 100-year-old novels. The next time you're watching a movie or reading a book you love, ask yourself, what's the secret language here? Look for that story beneath the story. Look for the symbols, the hidden rules of that world. Go be a detective. You might be blown away by what you find hiding just beneath the surface.